What's up, everybody? My name is Paul Fournier. This is my buddy Steve Arvey. We're riding in a van down by the river. No, actually, what we're doing is we're going to Steve's place on Longboat Key, and we're going to play a little music. We're going to find out who Steve is, and we're going to go from there. Well, where are you from?
Born in Chicago. Mother was a jazz singer. My dad was a promoter, and loved music, loved life, so it's kind of my background. Most of my music comes from my mother. My grandmother was an organ player. She actually used to play, sometimes she was one of the subs at Wrigley Field. Bum, 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 on the big old B3, you know.
Did she really?
Yeah. So I used to spend a lot of my early days going to Cubs games and hanging out. It's pretty cool getting to meet the team and all that kind of stuff. So music was always part of the house. We had a piano and the B3.
Awesome. Or in the living room or something like that?
Yeah, I mean, I got my first guitar lessons when I was 13, but I really didn't like the teacher. He just taught Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. I wanted to be like the Beatles. Actually, it was Michelangelo Badio, the guy that plays two guitars at the same time. He was one of my big influences, and but it was later on, hanging out on Maxwell Street and with the blues guys. Once you get that blues feeling, that feeling that just hits your soul, it just gets you addicted. And then the first time I ever jammed with somebody in 1978, Doc Villardo. The first time, if you remember, the first time you ever played with another musician and you actually came up with something, you got to say that's just incredibly exciting.
Absolutely.
That feeling. The first time I ever did that, January 28, 1978. Man, it was just incredible. Just that whole feeling was just wild.
Can you always remember dates like that?
Yeah, pretty much. I remember historic dates like that. First time West Side Heat, one of my bands, November 11th, 1981.
Out of Chicago?
Yeah, that was a band I was in.
West Side Heat?
West Side Heat, yeah.
Nice.
So, things like that. You kind of remember.
Cool. Now, what was your one of your biggest success points, you would say?
Biggest success point was in 2005 with my song "Cold Wind from Chicago" being on an album with the Byron Bay Roots and Blues Festival. So there was a Warner Brothers International picked up. I'd already been touring in Australia because of the success of some other songs like Blues Messiah, Root and Ruth, and things I've written in the past. And then we released a CD, the Free Range CD, but it was actually they picked up a song that came off another CD called "Cold Wind from Chicago" and it appeared on a CD compilation, a 2-disc. So you can still find it online with REM, George Thorogood, Dave Matthews, Michael Franti, Jack Johnson. It's a pretty cool CD, so that was really cool to be included with your name on a record like that,
Yeah.
All that love you left behind, I know I'm gonna get there. It's gonna be real soon.
Let me think. When did you move back down to Florida?
Oh, I came back down to Florida in 2005. I mean, I spent my, early days down here going to school from 78 to 82, but then went back to Chicago, New York, and then came down permanently in 2005, 2007, around that,
Now, who did you play with down here when you first started out in Florida?
Just pretty much my own band, my own, stuff. I didn't really join any other band. The only thing I've been bands is like a Black Sabbath tribute band.
Right.
Other than that, it's either been the Steve Arvey horn band or blues band or jazz group or whatever.
Now, are those all musicians that are local, or do you bring them down from Chicago?
No, everybody's been local. There hasn't really been anybody that's followed from Chicago.
Yep. Okay, can you name some of the artists that you played with when you got back to Florida?
Oh, some of the different people in my band and stuff?
Yeah.
Well, guys like Tim Eddy, great saxophone player, great keyboard player. He wrote all the horn charts, did a really great job and stuff. Glenn Evans, great drummer, who started out a long time ago with the name of the Cover the Rolling Stones band. He did that song. He was down here. Otis T. Sugarbear, who's still with me, plays with me. He's a great bass player, knows all my material. Hard for him not to get stumped by me, so he does a good job. Let's see, who are some of the other... Rebecca the Songbird, great vocalist. Actually, I joined her band, and I've been with her for a long time, and she helps write songs and is a great harmony vocalist, and I like backing her up. Let's see, who are some of the other great people down here. Bill Buckman, Ed Kinder, a lot of great musicians that I've got to perform with down here. Aaron Fowler, Aaron, what a drummer, what a musician. When I say the word musician, musicians are not just people that play music. James Bernardo, another great, Michael Dempsey. These are guys that listen to what's going on and create, and they listen, they have dynamics, they understand what's going on musically. Anybody can go up on stage and just be a performer and go up and sing other songs, but to be a musician, you have to be able to know theory. Not a lot of theory, you don't have to be like, I'm not talking about somebody's got to be like a complete bookster or a Juilliard or, Berkeley grad, somebody that listens and helps create, add something. That's what music's all about, is getting together a good group of musicians that are creative and can all work off each other and create a sound. That's what creates a band and creates music, not just one person up there. You take a look at bands like the Police and the Stones and the Beatles and Zeppelin. The musicians all meant something. They added something. That's what being a musician is, not just being somebody that can just be on stage. You got to listen. What's it to be a songwriter? Why should people go out and write songs? Well, it's to leave a legacy. That's the thing. To go ahead and create your own melody, rhythm, songs with chords and come up with something is very self-fulfilling. That's exactly what musicians should live for, and to leave something. There's no bigger honor than me watching a band take one of my songs or another artist and turning it into them performing a song that I wrote. That's just the ultimate high in life. Is what that's all about, is to leave a legacy, to leave something behind. I think sometimes it's something to say. I think it's putting together a group of people. I know if I've got a unique sound with a band and we start touring and we start playing, original things come out. All of a sudden, if you're playing with a group on the road, and you do 25 dates and 25 shows and 30 dates, you're going to come up with stuff and it's going to show up in your repertoire. That's if the band is wants to do that. If you're a copy band or a tribute band, it's a little bit hard to do that, but for the most part, it's out there.
What's one of the hardest times you've had on the road?
I've never had a hard time on the road. That's the happiest thing always in my life. There's been snowstorms, there have been broken down vehicles, there's been long trips through Australia, but all in all, if I'm playing music like I do every day, that's all that matters to me. That's all that matters. I do it because of Tim Logan, our old bass player. He's gone now, and I realize I'm alive. Every day is a blessing, and I play music to to keep living, and it's I'm a music addict. You know, going from, you know, being an addicted personality and substances to being addicted to my guitar. My guitar takes me out of everything, and that's my addiction is guitars.